Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a tag video created by Annette's Makeup Corner. I'll put a link to her channel down in the description box. I absolutely love her. She is one of the new people, well, new to me, that I've been watching, and she does so many fun videos, and I love the way that she does her makeup. I love that she comes up with, yeah, some great ideas for videos. So this is a tag video, and she said, you know, anybody that made videos, go ahead and do it, and tag her on Instagram so she can watch the videos too. So if you're watching this, Annette, I love your channel, and you're very inspiring. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to choose my top 10 favorite eyeshadow palettes that are in my collection. And I'm going to do these smallest to largest because I have a pile in front of me that is arranged that way, so it would be a bit easier if I did that. Some of them are fairly new. Some of them I've had for a while. Let's just go through them. All right, the first one I'm going to talk about is Zuri Flawless Metallic. I love the color story in this. I love the packaging. It's like that lucite packaging. But look at that. You get a silver, purples, a green, and then this is some kind of a neutral shade. I would say maybe like a darker taupe. But I really like this. I got this from ShopMissA.com, so it was only $1. And I've worn this in at least one, maybe two videos, and I really enjoy it. The other one that I got, the smoky one, I don't like that one as much. The formula doesn't seem the same to me, but I do really love this one, and for $1, you really can't go wrong. I've actually loved everything that I've gotten by that brand, Zuri. Zuri Flawless, I should say, is the name of the brand. The next one I'm going to talk about is the Amuse 5-color eyeshadow palette in Lucky Greens. And I've ended up getting several palettes by this brand Amuse, and they've all been good. I really like the formula on this. It's very unusual. It's got it feels like it has a lot of moisture in it, so it's got like some slip to it, but they're not cream eyeshadows, they are powder eyeshadows. But how beautiful is that? Lucky Greens. And I like that you get a variety of tones in the green, but then you have this fantastic crease shade to go with it, and then you've got your highlight shade. It's just this palette works on so many levels. I really like it. The next one is something that was limited edition that is no longer available, and I hate to include things like that in this video, but I want to be realistic about what I have that I love, and this is one of them. This is the Neutrogena Force of Nature Eyes by Kerry Washington palette. And I actually found out about this after I had been out for a while, and I dug this out of the clearance section at Ulta. I had read about it somewhere, and I saw a picture of it on Kerry Washington, and I was like, wow, that's gorgeous. So I went to Ulta. This is a few months ago. I went to Ulta, and I went all through, I went all through that big messy clearance section that's disgusting, frankly. And they had, at the time, they had 2 or 3 of these. But the formula on these is great. And those are the shades. I really like that purpley color at the end there. And the neutrals in the middle are very pretty. Let me do some swatches for you. Okay, so there's the first three. So they're very soft. They're not super pigmented, but on the eyes, they're just gorgeous. These swatches are just not doing them justice, but they have like a light metallic thing going on, but they're really, really pretty. The next thing I want to talk about is the Academy of Color Stay Cool palette. And Academy of Color is only sold at Kohl's, and they don't always have it. It's very like 1 minute it's there, the next minute it's gone type of thing. But I love this brand for their eyeshadows, and I've owned many, many palettes from them over the years, and I've had to declutter most of them, unfortunately, because of their age. But this is this one, and this one came out in the fall, and it was like a back to school type theme. But look at those colors. I love it because this is like a taupey pewter type shade that I love those kind of colors. And then with the purples and the pink and the brown and the gold, I just love it. I've got to swatch that taupey one. It's like a taupe pewter, but oh my God, that is so gorgeous. Yeah, I love those kind of colors. And then with the purple in the lightly in the crease or even just in the outer V, oh, I love this. And it was only $5. Okay, next is the Jeffree Star Mini Controversy palette. I haven't had this very long, but I do really like it. And those are the shades. And I like that it's a combination of some neutrals with some impractical, brighter colors. And I like that they gave you some light shades for highlights. And I had some trouble with this particular shade right here when I used it at first, but then I used that shade wet and it was fine after that. So that one I would recommend that you use it wet. But I do really like this. And they're going to be changing, they're going to be moving Diet Root Beer up here and removing Cry on My Couch. That's the last thing that I read about that. And then they're going to be putting in that green that they showed in the video series. And I don't know if I wish I had waited so that I could get the green or if I'm glad I have this, but it doesn't really matter because they're going to be selling the green as a single. So that's probably what I'm going to do is I'm just going to order that green as a single. It would have been nice to have it in the actual palette though. But at the same time, this is the only like matte neutral that would be a good crease shade. So maybe it's just as well that I got the original and not the one that's going to be revised. I love the formula of his eyeshadows, by the way. And I love the interesting packaging. Okay, next is going to be a palette by Makeup Obsession. This is a brand that is sold at Target only, and it is owned by the Makeup Revolution company, so it's like a sister brand of them. This is the Belle Jordan palette, and I really like the quality of these eyeshadows. I like the color scheme. I love that she put that fun purple in the corner there. This is a very, very black, and it's just a nice assortment of colors. The white is a very white. I like that these are removable, so if you started to run out of storage space, you could depot these and put them in a palette with some other eyeshadows that you had, or if there were ones that you just didn't feel as if you use that often, you could just save your favorites and then give away the rest of them. This is a brand that I don't really hear a lot of people talk about, and I have a few different products from them. Their highlighters are amazing. Their face highlighters. So yeah, I don't understand why more people don't talk about this brand because their products are very good. Speaking of Target, This is also a brand that is only sold at Target. This is Color Story Velvet Rose, and it's a pressed pigment palette, and as you can see, I got this in the clearance section. I score the best things in the clearance section at stores because, yeah, it's been handled a lot, and it's, but sometimes you can find things that have not been touched that are in perfect condition, and then it's worth it. Like this, I got for $6.98, and it was originally $9.99, and it hadn't been touched, it hadn't been swatched, nothing. So here is that, and this is sort of like Academy of Color from Colts in the sense that it doesn't have a regular section at Target, so they put it like on displays and end caps, and if you see anything, I think they brought out some palettes for Christmas too. But this brand is very good, and the formula on this is similar to the Makeup Obsession. But look at all those pretty shades, and it's a nice combination of neutrals and then some things that are, a little bit unusual. And of course, I like Twilight. I like anything that is silver, pewter, or taupe. And then I like that they put that red in there too. That was a good idea. This one down here is Amethyst, really pretty purple. So that's Color Story Velvet Rose. Okay, so that was 7 palettes, so we only have 3 left. Jeffree Star Blood Sugar. That is what I did my makeup with today. Let me start off by telling you what I don't like about this palette. It is very bulky. The only reason why it has to be this thick is because they wanted to use this hinge style packaging. If they had just made it thinner and skipped out on the hinges, it would have been so much better for storage purposes, because anyone who has a large collection, this is going to be somewhat of a problem. Anyway, other than that, I really like this palette. So that's what it looks like. And again, I really like the formula. And I do like that they made the packaging interesting. It's like a medical theme. And they did that with the packaging and with the shade names. So I like how creative he is with his vision of what he wants to do for palettes. And it is a quite unusual color story. At first, I had some trouble like trying to figure out what to do as far as different looks. But then after a while I started to get the hang of it, and I mean, there's so many reds in this palette. So the whole bottom row is really a variation on reds. Except for maybe this one here is pretty much an orange. But I mean, these are all reds right here. And then this one, yeah, that one's a red too. It's just like a purpley red, but these are all reds. So that's a lot of reds for one palette. But I have to admit, my favorite shades in the palette are this white is what I have on as my brow bone and inner corner highlight. It's really a fantastic matte white shadow. I really like this O positive, which is, it comes off as a gray, but when you put it on your skin, it's a little bit less gray and a little bit more wearable than what you would think. If you have cool tone skin, you will absolutely love this shade because it's quite rare and you just don't see colors like that in palettes ever. But in real life, it has a hint of brown to it, so it's actually bordering on a taupe. So it's not really a straight up gray. But that is an awesome crease shade, and that is what I have in my crease, although you wouldn't really be able to see it because I layered Cavity, which is the bubblegum pink, which I also really love. I layered that, so I kind of use the O positive as a transition, and then this is in my crease, Candy. So love that. I also love the Root Canal purple shade, but I don't have it in this look today. Fresh Meat is what I put in the outer V portion of my eyes and in the outer parts of my lids. And then I used Candy Floss, which is a beautiful warm pink shade, is what is in the inner 2/3 of my lids. But yeah, I really like this palette, and it's different. It's really unusual color scheme wise, but I think that's why a lot of people did like it, because it was so unique and different than anything they had in their collection. Also, by Jeffree Star, sort of. This is actually a Morphe palette. This is the Morphe and Jeffree Star palette. And let me set that plastic thing aside. Look at all the beautiful, colorful shadows. Now, if I could change just one thing in this palette, I would dump this pressed glitter. I don't like pressed glitters in palettes. And this one is also pressed glitter. So I would ditch those two and make those shadows. I like that it's a gold and a silver, but I would just make those like a regular formula shadow. And some of these shades here, the glitter can sometimes get away from you. You know, you'll end up with some fallout. So I wish that those didn't have as much fallout to them. But aside from that, I love the color story here. And it's actually way more wearable than what you would think it would be at first glance, because there are a lot of lighter shades in here that you can use, and then just use the bright, colorful shadows as much or as little as you want to. I like Morphe's formula for their eyeshadows, and I don't feel like it's that much different than Jeffree's as far as quality goes. I think the quality of this is fine. And there's some unique shades in here that I don't have that exact shade in any other palettes. And I like that it's nice and thin and very light, although it is quite large. But yeah, this is definitely in my top 10. And last but certainly not least is maybe my favorite palette in my entire collection. I know that's a bold statement, and I've had it for less than a year. I bought it on Amazon.com. I never hear anyone talk about this brand except for Tammi Clarke. Tammi with an I, 2 M's, and Clarke with an E. Check her out. She's got a great channel. But she is the only person on YouTube that I ever hear talk about this brand. My Beauty Glazed Gorgeous Me palette. This is fantastic. It's small for the amount of eyeshadows that are in here. If you've never seen any of my videos before, you're going to be shocked when you see how many are in here. I believe it's 63. But because it's so compact and designed in such a unique way, they all fit fine. But the colors in here, the selection of colors, the quality of the shadows, the price of the palette. Yeah, just go to Amazon.com and type in Beauty Glazed Gorgeous Me eyeshadow. And I'm telling you, you cannot beat this. The only downside with this that I can see is if you use brushes with white brush hairs, they will stain them, because these are more like a pressed pigment than they are eyeshadows. And it has the ingredients on the back, but it doesn't say anything about them being pressed pigments. But they act like a pressed pigment. So there it is. So you have 2 trays, the top and the bottom, all neutrals. And then you've got your colors in the middle. And the colors in the middle range from, you know, wild, bright, dark colors to more wearable things like coppers, rose golds, you know, things that are a little bit easier to work with. But these are amazing. And if you look, if I tilt it, you can see that I've used this, and a lot of times when I show you palettes that I've had for a while, that is not the case. But I have played with this so much, and I really genuinely love it more than anything else in my collection. So Beauty Glazed, totally underrated brand that nobody but me and Tammi Clarke talks about. So that is it, you guys. Those are my 10 favorite eyeshadow palettes that are in my collection right now. I wanted to do this as a like baseline thing because going forward in the future, I want to try more obscure brands like Beauty Glazed. And Jeffree Star isn't obscure, but Jeffree Star was new to me this year. So, you know, Color Story, Makeup Obsession, Academy of Color, Amuse, Zuri, Flawless. These are all new brands to me this year. The only brand that I had used prior to this year that is in this collection now is Academy of Color and Neutrogena. Other than that, these are all new brands for me this year. So I want to keep doing that. I want to keep trying new things and not get stuck in a rut of just using the same old all the time. So thank you, Annette, for coming up with this idea, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.